And we got a Shannon on there. Great. Make sure they go. We can talk to them right away.
Yeah, they have to unmute themselves.
Okay. Can you hear us, Shannon? Okay. All right. Here we are, guys. Hodl, hodl, hodl. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money. Sound money. Guys, this is Ugly Old Goat. We are doing some public shows now. We're trying little promotions. This is mainly market testing. The promotion we have is Bitcoin has just gone up so much, and I'm my service. We haven't gone up in price as far as Bitcoin is concerned, but Bitcoin certainly has. So we're lowering the price of our newsletter service by 50%. And if you sign up under a referral link by an existing member, you get another 15% off. So it's reasonable, but still very expensive. Hey, if you're new, of the 99% of the people that are watching this, if you don't have a Bitcoin HODL, don't worry about this offer. We're going to have some other things this year, but go to my website, which is uglyoldgoat.com. And we've got a whole lot of free content there. I mean, 99% of what I do is free because we have paying members that support me. We're able to offer this free to you guys, and we're glad to do it. If you're seeing us for the first time, we've been doing this since, I think the beginning of 2019. And we've just gotten a little bit better at it time and time again, and change things around a little bit. But the message is pretty well the same. And we believe Bitcoin is sound money, and we want to tell the world about it. And we don't want you to get in trouble. And so number one is we give you content so that you won't make the same mistakes that so many of us have made when we entered into the Bitcoin market. And the number one thing that we do is we HODL, which is a bastardization of the word hold. And we actually wrote a story about how that all evolved. That's on the website. And what we do is we recommend that you dollar cost average. You just use Bitcoin as your savings program and buy a regular amount every month. And by doing that, a fixed dollar amount every month, you will be buying more when it's low than when it's high. The market has just gotten away from us, skyrocketing right now, which is great for us that have been in Bitcoin for a long time. And you may feel like, oh, wow, I've missed that boat. And, I'm not going to, the worst thing that happens is that there's a lot of scammers out there. They say, well, we have the next Bitcoin. We have something better than Bitcoin. And so the first thing that we teach is there is nothing better than Bitcoin. The rest of them are wannabes. Stay with Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone. In a way, that's kind of a matter of faith. But there's very strong fundamental reasons for that, and that is Bitcoin is the most secure. It's the longest chain with proof of work, is what we say, and it has the only chance of really becoming the next monetary standard. The competition in free market money is going to come on the standard, and Bitcoin is the standard. Bitcoin is the blockchain. So I'm just going to keep it simple from here. Again, if you're new, I want to introduce you to the website. Can you pull that up for a minute, Eddie? The website.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go to uglyoldgoat.com, you're going to get this crazy goat on a chariot. There you go. There it is. And that is our, what are we on now? Okay. Here it comes. And it starts, it's real simple. How to achieve the same results of a professional Bitcoin trader. Put my picture up in the corner, up on the right-hand corner there. And then we just hit read more, and you can read this article. And then there's a whole series of articles down there. But this is the one that we introduce you to because we teach you how to dollar cost average. And the results are just astounding. You can limit your risk substantially. You're not leveraged. And so, and over time, it just works very well. We actually, that's stop there. This is what our dollar cost averaging chart. We started this at the very high of the market back there in January 15th of 2014, when Bitcoin had just peaked at $1,000 and it was starting back down. Had you started buying at that peak uh, uh, over time, we can see it took a long time, because if you look, the market was, it started at 875, went down there, hit January 15th, 2015, you see it went down to $210, right up there. There it is, right there. And so you had an investment of $6,500, but it was only worth 3,000. So you were down 50% measured in dollar terms. But by continuing to dollar cost average, when the market finally did turn, you did very, very well. So if we go down and we show, I'll scroll all the way down, and this last December, uh, 2020, the market, of course, it's much higher than that now, but a $42,000 investment has yielded you over $1 million. And right now, if the market, believe it or not, is at $37,000, that's almost doubled. So in other words, by 500 a month, you've almost made $2 million by investing in Bitcoin, which just it seems incredible. But guys, what you're seeing right now is the results of 4 generations of inflating. And so Bitcoin is the primary fundamentals behind Bitcoin. Yes, it is an innovation, and we go into all the reasons why it is. But the real fundamentals behind Bitcoin is we have 4 generations of inflation. And the biggest swindle, and there's all kinds of swindles out there all the time, but the biggest swindle that's ever been perpetrated in the United States and on the world is the inflation of the US dollar. And that's been going on now since we nationalized the banking system in 1913 by creating the Federal Reserve. And then every generation has taken it to the next level. We're at the final level, and you are witnessing the collapse of the dollar, the collapse of the United States. It's a very sad day, but those of us that are prepared, and it's not too late to get prepared, Bitcoin can guide you through some very perilous times. This next chart there that we're looking at now is dollar cost averaging beginning on December 2017, which is the other peak. And that's when Bitcoin was $17,000. And once again, if you just had been dollar cost averaging through and through, since December 2017 to today, you would have an investment of 18,500. And that on December 15th, it was worth almost 50,000. And now that 50,000 is worth almost 100,000. Probably, I don't know if I figured it out. We do this on the 15th. Eddie does this every month, so he'll be doing it again. And yeah, and so this is the strategy that we teach you now. And so if you're new, just have fun, enjoy our website, educate yourself. You don't need our service until you have a HODL. Once you have a HODL, then you need to learn to deal with that HODL, and you need to learn to hedge it. We call what's called saving, and it's a bastardization of the word savvy. So the way we spell it, S-A or save, S-A-Y-V-V, and it's savvy means that because you are a hodler, you're making you're getting ahead in your investment, and now and again you want to reward yourself. The way you do that is you might, from time to time, when the market is like it's really being overbought now, there's no reason to think it's going to go down, but it is a good time to maybe look for other things to go into and sell just a portion of your HODL. If you've been thinking about upgrading your laptop, or you want to take your wife out for a nice dinner, or you might have a car that you've been wanting to buy, this is a good time to just, we call that saving, and you're rewarding yourself for being a good saver. And then the last thing we do is we build it. And building means that you build your skills using Bitcoin as your standard. Doesn't mean you have to be, the way I build is on this website. And it's kind of more of my contribution back to Bitcoin, because we're not in this for the money. We actually take everything that we make from members, and we put it back into what we're doing and into teaching, and that's why we're doing this today. But by building, and what I mean is produce wealth, because as a wealth producer, that's how you can now, as you're producing your wealth, you want to put it to an asset that's going to appreciate rather than depreciate. So as you're producing wealth, then you can hodl. And so you're constantly hodling, but you also can do very well by saving and building. Your hodl actually provides you new opportunities. And that's what we're doing here with Ugly Old Goat. All right, so hey guys, following every single live from Switzerland. Thanks for the rich content. Oh, thank you, user XXX and Ugly Old Goat team. Thanks for the money management advice. That's what we teach. So number one is money management all the way through. Once you get your hodl, then people are very tempted to trade, and that's great. I mean, you need to learn to do that, but most people make some very fundamental mistakes. The number one mistake they make is they trade with their hodl, and you don't do that. We recommend you trade with no more than 5% of your hodl, and that way, even if it takes a while to learn how to trade. The mistake that most people make is they risk way too much, and they risk their hodl, and then they lose their hodl. Okay, I started hard trading Bitcoin on November 10th from $500 and reached $7,000 in 10 days. Then I did shit, lost everything like in a casino. Insane. All right, that's it, guys. You got to be really careful on what you're doing. Yeah, and everybody feels bad if they sell their Bitcoin. So you don't want to be selling it. You want to be accumulating it. But that doesn't mean you can't sell some of it as you accumulate. So that's kind of the trick here in what we teach. And there's going to be more and more opportunities that pop up if you have a Bitcoin hodl. The first thing that we do recommend, let me outline briefly what the special is about. It does end today. So you old timers here that are familiar with Bitcoin, you're familiar with me, we're offering my service for half price. Now, when we started this, we had lifetime memberships. We don't have that anymore. The prices stayed the same all the way through, but we're offering more and more things. The quality of our production here is getting better. We've been invested a lot in our studio. We just want to become just a lot more professional in the things that we do, and we're getting there. The main thing that you get when you are a subscriber is my track record. And I started to do this right for Medium. In 2017, I was in the top 10 traders on the notational on BitMEX. And then in 2018, I didn't lose trading, but I just couldn't get ahead. So I just dropped out and started writing Medium articles. And that's how I built my reputation. And it happened just kind of very quickly and overnight, and was kind of surprising. And then I was encouraged by a good friend of mine, Tone Days, to start kind of come out and say who I really was. Huh?
Flip flop Ron.
All right, flip flop Ron is coming. All right. So, but to make a long story short, I have public now that verified trades starting in the fall of 2018 when I ran 2 Bitcoin into 22 Bitcoin in about 6 weeks, and then did the same thing in 2019. I ran 2 Bitcoin into 32 Bitcoin.
Legend.
There he is. All right. And now we have, we want to welcome Flip Flop Ron. He's also the, what are we going to, we're going to call you the trailer park something, but at any rate, trailer trash Ron. We call him trailer
That's
park
right.
trash Ron. So guys,
Proudly.
he's the biggest, he knows trailer parks. Okay. And he's created his wealth. He's got a story of his own. We need to do that link because he's already told a story, which is really good. But introduce yourself a little bit, Ron, and how you got into Bitcoin, and he used to come down here, guys. If you're a member, you come down here and visit me, and we go out and have some fun. So we're getting real serious about these razors now. I got 3 of them now, and I bought the goat lady a Jeep we got a Jeep with a what is it, a winch on the front. So
Nice.
we're getting real serious next time we go.
Nice.
How things been going? Long time no see.
I know it. I know it. I was hoping to come out and play some more in December, but you went and got sick, right?
Oh, I'm sick now. I'm pretty
Oh.
well getting over it. Although I'm sleeping, I couldn't believe it. I went we cut off early, and I went to take a nap, and I just now woke up. So I mean, it's the mildest flu I think I've ever had. The only thing that I found, but my biggest side effect right now is that I am tired. I sleep, which is kind of good because I usually don't sleep all night, but now I have no problem sleeping all night now.
Right.
So that's not bad at all. But the goat lady got real sick, and she had one real bad day. We were worried about her, but she came out. She got all the right medication and all the right care, and she's out and about. She's out and about in her truck now, and I don't know what she's up to in Ensenada, but she's always doing something. So that's good. She's at full speed, and more full speed than I am now, which is good.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'm glad. I'm not glad. I am sad that that happened. I wanted to go play this December.
Well, we're going to be doing it regularly, at least once a month, and I think more and more people are going to be coming down here. I know, and like I say, what's another thing we're going to add to all members, and you existing members, your lifetime members, you got an open invitation. You come down here, and we'll take you on an adventure.
Yeah.
On the razors. We did the Arendia trip, and I don't know if you saw the pictures, but Esther completely wrecked an ATV, broke the axle and everything on the beach.
Right.
And then another Angel, we were trying to get some good shots, and because we're doing video production, and he flipped over. I rented one that I'm buying. We got a Honda, and he flipped it over like 2.5 times.
Oh.
But at least he kept his hands inside, and nobody
Right.
got hurt. And I mean, we had 2 minor casualties, but we're getting it all together. I'm going to require these guys, if they want to go on the trip, they have to be trained in EMT, because we have a lot of fun. But it is I mean, we can't be as stupid as the first time we went out.
Yeah. Hey, that was fun though.
That was a lot of fun, but boy, was it stupid.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I crashed my motorcycle, and you flipped your razor all at the same time. That was great.
Yeah, and then in the morning we decided to go way back in the desert, and we just realized, we have 2 bottles of water. It's probably 15 or 20 miles to get back, and Ron only had on flip-flops.
Right.
And we went, but it just got to be more and more fun, and you just forget where you're at, and you're having fun, and that's when you get to be stupid.
Exactly.
Kind of like trading,
Exactly.
Yeah, guys, and that's what I teach. If you can't trade and have fun, you're over trading. So we try to have a lot of fun here, and so. Or if you can't sleep, if you got too much on, it, and you don't need to trade with a lot. You can take a very small part of your HODL. And one of the things I teach is, there's a lot of large traders out there. Most people are small traders, but the small traders don't realize that a lot of large traders become small traders. And and there's a few small traders that become large traders, and the wise large traders choose to become a small trader again. And if you look at the chat there with user XXX, that's exactly what can happen to you. It's not difficult to be highly successful in trading. What's difficult is to hold on to your trading, and to get to the point where you're not having these big downturns in your equity. So what I teach is money management and what we call now equity trading. We don't even worry too much about the charts or where the market is going or anything like that. We're trading our own equity. That keeps you out of trouble. We have some very astute, technical traders that got completely blown out in a Bitcoin this year, and they believe in Bitcoin, and yet, they're sitting there and just, it's got to be torture for them because they're missing out on a historic move right now. And it's all because they didn't follow the correct money management principles. It's by far the most important thing in trading. The second thing is your fundamentals. And we have outlines why Bitcoin is fundamentally sound money and why it is a hyperwave. And then the very last thing, and it's a very distant third thing, is TA, to technical analysis. And there's any number of systems out there that work, and everybody has their own trading style. So what I teach, it's really not important what system you use, as long as you use it consistently and you use it in conjunction with money management. So at any rate, yeah, well, I was looking forward to you coming. It was probably best that you didn't. When we went on that trip, I came back and Eunice had the COVID, and Alonzo, my son, he blocked the entry to her bedroom. They wouldn't let me go see her. I said, what? Because and she had called my oldest son in San Diego, and he was calling me, and he wouldn't let me. So no, you can't go see her. And then I was not happy about that. And I said, what do you mean, you guys? I can't. My wife's sick. I need to go see her. And of course, they were looking after me, and they were just worried. We have an 8-year-old daughter, and COVID's real. I mean, we got it, and she was very sick. I'm just a little bit sick, and we're
to get the oxygen.
Yeah, we got back from the trip, and we got her the oxygen that she needed. We got her all the medication that she needed, and so I stayed away from her for 24, 48 hours until she kind of came back up, and now we're both recovering. We're not back to where we were, but I didn't get sick. I mean, I could feel that I had a little bit of difficulty breathing for a few hours, and that was it. But it's not. I've had much worse flus than this. I mean, so it's not. But it affects everybody different, and if it gets in your lungs and you have the difficulty breathing, and then you start panicking, and then once you get down to a certain level, it's very difficult to come back. And she kind of went down there to the edge, on her oxygen levels and so forth, and so they were worried about her for a day. But she came back, and she's the most vulnerable because she has other health issues. Whereas, I'm much more healthy, even though I'm much older than she is. I'm just healthier than she is. So, How was your trip?
Oh, it was good. Yeah. So I ended up going to Colombia, and I had a great time in Colombia. Love Colombia. Very beautiful place.
It's a beautiful country. It really is.
Yeah. It was my first time. I went to Medellin, and
really?
wow, what a nice city.
Yeah, that's one where I want to go. We only were in Bogota, and we didn't get to Medellin. And there's supposed to be other city down there that's supposed to be so nice. Did you drive around at all, or did you just stay in Medellin?
I just stayed in Medellin and drove around the city. Actually, I was looking for properties, and I'm in contract to buy one right now.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there's a nice, when in normal times, not this year, but there's a nice rental market because it's a nice area to go to, not only for international travelers, but even other Colombians like to go to Medellin. It's a city.
I've heard nothing but good things about Medellin. Well,
yeah. So under contract, hopefully it'll close in March, April. Takes a little longer. Foreigners have the same rights in Colombia as citizens. So,
wow.
Yeah. And I wanted that was the other thing I wanted to do. Next time I come down there, hopefully here soon, the next couple of months, I want to buy some property in Mexico too.
Well, you get set up in Colombia. I might join you there in Colombia, and Juan is in Colombia now, so I mean, he might be our Colombian connection. You're going to see more and more people exit the United States. If not exit entirely, they're going to at least have one foot in other parts of the world, which is really the wise and prudent thing to do, guys. And this is what we're talking about now.
Exactly. Yeah, and I've known about this for a long time. Actually, I'm a little mad at myself for. I mean, I'm taking steps to become an expatriate or one foot out the door, dual passport, dual citizenship, or multi-residency kind of person. But today was a nice, clear example of I know what I'm talking about. It's good to have options and to mitigate your risk.
Yeah, and it's important to build a Bitcoin community because we're going to be looking for after each other's back. We're going to there's going to be more and more tyranny, and other people, other Bitcoiners will. We're targets. We're going to be targets. The very fact that Ron is appearing with his face, we're not going to dox him with anything else, but particularly people like me or Tone Bays or Juan, that we step out there, we can become targets. I think it's going to be more. I'm not so worried about the populace, although that is very real too. But we will be targets of governments for confiscation, and so you just need to take those precautions, and that's. I'm sure that's going to be where we're going to be working this next year too. I know Tone was up there in Washington, and this is it. He's leaving. He's making preparations to become an expatriate. I don't know, and I feel very comfortable, far more safe and comfortable here in Mexico than when I come across the border. And people don't get that because they're propagandized into thinking Mexico is dangerous and all this. And same thing with Colombia. I don't know. Colombia has a worse reputation than Mexico, I think.
Yeah, but they are great and such happy people too. And generally speaking, happy people. Just the opposite of what you hear in U.S. propaganda.
It is absolutely the opposite, and people don't. It really is. And I learned to respect Colombians just because when I was locked up, they kind of ran the federal prison system. So, but they were always the businessman. They were always ambitious. They're always, and they all worked it up that they were sending money home every month. It was incredible. They were always gentlemen. They're always the most well dressed, and they were just very pleasant, fun people to be around, but don't fuck with them. It's real simple. And that's what we are. Don't tread on me, is I think what they said in New Hampshire or something. So that's where we're going to have to be as Bitcoiners. We are here to enjoy life. We're here to grow in life. We're here to produce. But we also realize that we're targets because people, particularly when this goes on, there's going to be more and more envy, and we've got an entitlement society that people feel they're entitled. Can you get that hand off on my face there? There you go. Put it down there. Okay. So that's it. Yes. Am I starting to, what? Bernard Ray's asked, am I planning on starting another half a Bitcoin trade? Actually, I've got a third of a Bitcoin is all I have on my account right now, which, believe it or not, can you believe that a third of a Bitcoin is more in dollar terms, is more than I started out with in either 2020 or 2019 or 2017. And so, there I have an account there of just 0.3 Bitcoin. But before I would start out like last year, I started with twice that amount. This is one of the things that I teach, guys, is you need, if you want, share it. It looks like we're just hitting new highs in Bitcoin again, guys. What can I say? Now, I trade on, or I don't trade at all. If you're a U.S. citizen, you are prohibited from trading on Mex, not because it's illegal to, but they don't want your business because of the government wants to regulate you, and they assume jurisdiction if you're trading for any American citizen. So the only way you can trade on here is you have to deceive or lie to them. And if they find out, they will close out your account. So most Americans can't, you can't trade on BitMEX. So you have to trade on another exchange. I'm an American. They closed out my accounts once they found out I was an American. I just logged in once and I didn't realize it. Initially they let anybody trade, and then the KYC stuff started, and they didn't want to deal with it. So if you're a U.S. citizen, they prohibited you from trading. My wife is Mexican, so that is another little advantage that you have. So I think that's another thing that will be another advantage that you have. Your girlfriend's Colombian, right? Or she dual citizenship?
No, she's actually an Argentine, but she
Oh,
doesn't. Yeah, she's an
wow.
Argentine, but she doesn't want to go back to Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm having difficulty getting her to leave California. So, but I don't wait for anybody. That includes girlfriends.
Well, we had a guy. We had who was it? The guy that won the unconfiscated. Ben was on last night. He won the unconfiscatable poker conference, and he's in Newport, California. But he says it's kind of an island there that they're not following any of the guidelines. He says all the restaurants are open, everything's. But he says it's a very big red state. It's just, and they're just not. They're not gonna. They're not following all the edicts that comes from the top. But that's not the game. And I mean, that's going to be the next part now is we're all going to be, if you're opposed to the new socialism, you're now a danger to society. You're going to be shut down or silenced in ways we probably haven't seen before. I mean, the tyranny, we're in a soft tyranny now, and we're probably headed for a much harder one. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But
I hope so too. It's just like I hope that I've been wrong on everything I've been predicting, and it keeps happening and keeps happening. Like today, when today happened, I was like, yeah.
Well,
wait till the rest of this month. Wait till the rest of this year. Wait till the rest of this decade.
Yeah.
How many more signs do you need?
It's kind of like me saying, well, you need to be buying Bitcoin, and then people ask me after it goes up, well, what do I do now? Well, what can I say? I've told you what you need to be doing. And if you haven't started yet, start now, but It's too high. Well, what can I say?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm getting those calls and texts too. I'm sure we all are.
Yeah. It's very frustrating. And, HODLing is not easy. So it's just not. So come down here, and we probably need to do more and more entrepreneur shows because I don't know. It's just people can learn from. We had another guy member. I think his name was. He lives down here in the Baja, so he's going to come and visit here soon. And he's a racer. He likes the racing. He used to be a semi-pro racer, so we'll probably learn a few things from him. We just kind of need. Hopefully, some of us older guys can guide the youngsters through this because I do not envy somebody just starting out right now because it's going to be rough. And you're going to have to. There's going to be a lot of opportunity there. But it's going to be different from anything you and I have witnessed, I'm afraid. So I didn't watch much of what was going on. I just, saw a few of the things and I guess Pence capitulated pretty quickly and I didn't see, I wanted to watch that part, but I predicted that. He's always been real wishy-washy to me. And we don't have, America is no longer the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's it's
home of the slaves.
Land of the enslaved, and and home of the cowards. I
That's
you know, I
right.
hate to say it, guys, but that's where you're at right now. And I knew that due process was gone once I'd gone through the system, and it's just really hard to explain it to everybody. It's just like these guys. I knew the FBI was totally corrupt. I knew the CIA is totally corrupt, and I learned it when I was in prison because there was never, you know, some guys, the conservatives like Sean Hannity, oh, it's just the top. These guys, no, it's the very concept. You know, how did the U.S. ever get along without an FBI? It wasn't created until what 1930s or 20s under FDR, and amazingly, America got by without such an organization or without the CIA. And but when I was locked up, I did train myself to become a jailhouse lawyer, and I started reading. I had to be selective on the cases. If I read the case, I thought there was a chance and I would handle it. And but I did find that there was not one case on and all that. Most people are in there for drugs, and there was never a case where the money and the drugs matched. And it didn't matter if it was the FBI that did the seizure, the local police, or the CIA or whoever it was, the DEA. The drugs and the money never matched, and they were always short. In other words, they were either not all the drugs were there or not all the money was there. And it was a perfect game because Eddie was a victim of it. It's less than what they say, but if you say, oh no, you took more than that, you're going to get a bigger sentence. So, oh, okay, you think you fooled him. Yeah, I fooled him. I'm only going to do, 8 years instead of 12 years because they think I got, meanwhile, they were pocketing the difference.
Right.
And the honest FBI agents just take the cash and they'll leave the drugs. But I'll tell you your story. Eddie, how much did you have? The money, yeah. The money, yeah. They were you had 300,000, but they don't.
No, and then when I see my report, I only had 100. So.
Wow, that's pretty lucrative. Go from 350 down to 100. That was a pretty nice take.
Right.
Then that was sitting in a bank account, right? It wasn't even cash.
No, that
was cash.
No, that was cash.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's always the cash. Okay. And I guarantee you, I was looking. I said, "There's got to be one drug dealer where the numbers match." Nope, there wasn't, not one. So that's the game. That's the corrupt game, and people just don't want to believe it. I mean, I can tell this till I'm blue in the face, and they're going to say, "Oh no, that's our FBI, that's the police." Sorry, guys.
I'm not even excited about it anymore. Meaning, I used to try to convince people, but no, the Americans live in a facsimile of America. It's not a republic anymore. There's been many things that have been changed. It's been corrupted from within.
Yeah,
especially over the recent decades, and chickens are coming home to roost.
Yeah, I mean this is not surprising to a lot of us, and it's surprising to me the number of people that are surprised by it. That's the only
exactly. Exactly.
That's all I can say.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know if Victor can come on today or not. We invited Victor from the equity. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. This is not a good market to be trading in. I'm not excited about it at all. The risk, the volatility is high there. I mean, you can just buy. I'm doing great with my HODL. I'm not excited about trading, and I've got to really cut the size down of my trades because I don't like the volatility. I think that the opportunity is not even to be the opportunity for Bitcoiners. There might be some opportunity trading there too, but I think the real opportunity is going to be hedging strategies. And so I might just, and by that, I mean, there's going to be more and more financial institutions or financial products that are going to be denominated and tradable with Bitcoin being used as collateral. And so right now, the only major trade that I'm in is I do have a pretty sizable gold position on. because there are exchanges now where you can buy gold and use your Bitcoin as collateral. So I do think that that's happening. I think the fundamentals are gold. I mean, gold is not Bitcoin. They're not the same thing. But if there's ever a competition for Bitcoin, it's going to be gold. And it's really the only thing open for governments. If what unfolds, what it looks like is unfolding, and we lose all faith in the United States, the only way that faith is going to be restored is they're going to have to restore some form of a gold standard. So I would not be at all surprised if that happens. I think that the fact that we have Bitcoin now, if that happens, I think that the Bitcoin will be provides a more long-lasting gold standard. I think it will keep the gold standard honest. And so in that sense, but the problem is we have a huge lesson on learning what money is. And I'm afraid we're just not going to learn till we see the full effects of a runaway inflation, which, guys, it's going to be devastating. It's going to be very difficult. That's why I'm here in Mexico. That's why Ron's looking for a place in Colombia and coming down here. I see nothing but where the area I'm at here in Mexico is just booming the next decade. Because the Mexican, they're not fooled by their government. Everybody knows it's corrupt. I call it honest corruption.
Yeah, I can appreciate honest corruption.
Yeah. I mean, that's when the federale pulls you over and you did something, and I say, well, I don't want to go see the judge and I don't want to waste your time, and so we can just take care of it right there on the street.
Exactly.
But if they're trying to shake you down, then okay, well, let's go see the judge. So you can't be taken advantage of, but you kind of have to figure out how it works. And there's always a way around things. So down in Mexico, that's kind of there's always a workaround that's real obvious. Not real obvious, but you can figure it out. So.
Well, this decade, we've got a number of interesting things coming up, like the U.S. dollar is no longer going to be a world reserve currency.
Right.
It's going to fall off. It's not going to be the top dog anymore, and it's going to happen this decade. It may even happen as quick as this year or the next couple of years. And then when that happens, folks holding the U.S. dollar are not going to have an unfair advantage over other countries anymore, like the dollar versus the peso in various countries and so on. So there's a lot of things going on, and all of just even more reasons to have Bitcoin and real assets. And then if you need to cash out your Bitcoin into some form of fiat, then you want to be in a position to be able to choose the fiat that you want to go into.
Yeah, and you want to be in multiple jurisdictions because when you talk about Bitcoin is the one asset that can't be confiscated as long as you have your own keys. Now, if you own Bitcoin and you have it on these exchanges, you're very vulnerable. And this last year, I've just come out with a flat out warning, people that have all of their retirement on these legacy accounts, if you're tied up with your house in the United States and your retirement, you're at tremendous risk of confiscation, or at least a severe haircut. We're just overnight, it's going to be, well, you've made you're rich and that's not fair. And so we're going to take a third or half of what you have and we're going to distribute it to all the poor people. But the commission, we take an 80% commission and the poor will get 20%. That's the way socialism works.
You know what the state of California is doing?
No.
New Scum is trying to pass a bill to where and I don't say if, I say when, people that are over leveraged lose their houses in California in this next big wave of whatnot's going on, that the houses cannot go back on the open private market, back through the REOs and resold again, regurgitated. They go to the state.
Oh, well, that's good.
He wants,
yeah. And there's his backyard. So
he wants the houses to go to the state. Socialism,
there you go.
Communism 101.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. Why didn't I think of that? You know,
Yeah.
my good. Well, the other thing I know, I don't think it went through yet, or I know that they had it on the ballot or something. They were going to have an exit tax. You know, if you leave, you can't leave. You
Right.
know, without losing. I don't know, which sounds completely unconstitutional. But
Right.
we threw that constitution out the window a long time ago. So you may as well forget that one.
Yeah. Well, and California is a trendsetter, and I'm born and raised there. I can pick on California, but they're a trendsetter. Unfortunately, most of the trends are not good ones.
Yeah.
They're not.
No, they're not.
So
Yeah, and all these
yeah,
people, they want to move to Texas, but everybody wants to move to Austin because that's the only liberal city in Texas. And
right.
that's the seat of government. That's where the capital is, which, gee, why is that? All the government workers are socialists. Why would that possibly be? Could they possibly have a self-interest in big government?
Mhm. Right.
Seems like. So yeah, I noticed the governor got on saying, "No, we uh, uh, the Californians that are moving here are not the left-wing Californians; they're just the Republican Californians."
No.
Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Could be.
No, because a lot of the high tech are leftist liberals. I know.
Yeah,
I'm
they
from the
are.
Bay Area, and they're
I don't
going
get it.
left.
How can how I where have I missed the boat on that? They should be natural, entrepreneurs, and most of them are not. I mean, they're entrepreneurs, but they don't want to play a fair game,
Mhm.
I don't get it. I really don't. That would be an interesting study why the high tech people are socialist, socially,
Mhm.
socialist in their mindset. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't either. I don't either, because a lot of them are making six figures a year, and
Yeah,
they're
and, yeah,
and more
right.
stock options. So, and yet they want socialism. So I say, well, go get a job at the DMV, the California DMV, and then try it out. Get rid of your $200,000 a year job. Go work for the government.
Well, that's paid off pretty well for a lot of people. The government job, but where it's going to change now, and the big self correction is as the dollar gets weaker, then their power becomes less and less because the inflation is not going to have the effect. I think Tone kind of pointed this out. They're no longer going to be able to pay the police. It's not a question of defunding the police. They're going to fund the police, but it's kind of like the Roman armies weren't getting paid, or they were getting paid in inflated coin, whatever it was, denarius. And so they rebelled, and it was the Roman armies that marched on Rome, said, "We're not taking this anymore."
Right. So ideologies aside, if you're in the United States, whether you're a liberal or conservative or whatever, it doesn't matter what your ideology is. The central banking system does not care about your ideology. So yes, once again, you want to be in Bitcoin. There's going to be a lot of people suffering, conservatives and liberals alike. But the United States is going full leftist.
Well, I'm here in Mexico. I'm here to stay. I probably this year I go across regularly because and I have family. I have two sons that live in San Diego, but I'm probably going to try and arrange things this year where I don't have to go back. And I do want to issue this warning, guys, because it's very real. Um, Tijuana San Ysidro border is the largest international crossing in the world. And now and the Americans have always freely been able to go into Mexico. You just drive in, and Mexicans can freely come in out of Mexico. They don't check people, and they'll never check people leaving Mexico, I'm sure. But now in the United States, they have the kiosks. You are not going to be able to leave the United States and drive to Mexico without going through a check station.
Yeah, we saw that last time.
and it's
months
coming.
ago.
The kiosks are built there.
Right.
You know, make your escape plans now, because the border's going to be closed to some, you know, unless you're part of the essential workers or essential, you know, it's going to be a whole new ball game. And you can bet that if you've on the wrong side of the political beast, you're going to be a captive slave. You're not even going to be able to escape the plantation anymore. And,
Correct.
And basically, you know, the plantation politics started in 1913 when they passed the income tax. And you know, I think I'd love to see that movement, particularly in the next generation. That's one of the things that just has to be undone. No man's labor should be taxed. You have to have taxation. Governments, I'm not an anarchist. Government should exist, but you don't tax a man's work. And that's what income tax does. And then you have all these disincentives to the point now we pay people not to work. And I saw that happening when the COVID broke out, and I saw the COVID breakout. That was the canary in the mine shaft for me, not this election, but the latest bailout. And the reason being is for the first time, the average Joe is seeing how inflation works. You know, I just got $1,200 deposited in my bank account. I didn't ask for it or anything. Apparently I fell under the right guidelines on my 2019 income, and there it was. And that's very destructive. And you know, and we just have a mindset that's what people are. Had we done that even a year ago, think about it. It was Andrew Yang that you know, was promoting the universal basic income. And now it's just, you know, everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. I forgot who the candidate was that, and it was years ago, and he was just a laughing stock because he promised that once he was elected, the first thing he would do was give everybody $1,000, and he was laughed at. Hell, it's here, guys. We're doing it, and it has huge repercussions. And and we're telling people don't work, stay at home. You can't. Not only can you not work, we're not going to allow you to open your business. Just certain businesses can open up, and you have to follow our restrictions. You're not able to protect yourself from COVID. We are going to protect you. And so it's this whole new mindset, and it's very destructive. I mean, I get in the point on this COVID thing. I don't even want to talk to people about it because it's like it's insanity. They're complete idiots. And even the people I work with, they're get it some, but you know, they're scared to death of we've had these things before, but people face them with a completely different attitude and outlook. And it's almost like, and I do think part of that's spiritual, because I do think that we have, if you're atheist or agnostic, this is all you got. This life is it, you know, and that puts a completely different perspective on things than if you have a faith and you believe, you know, that there's something else better coming, you know, and I think that's one of the foundational things that is a result. But yeah, I mean, and then I did that study, and you know, the French, I didn't realize it, but the French and the Dutch, the Belgian, they invaded Germany after World War I because Germany wasn't paying the reparations. And they invaded them with, like, I don't know, 10 or 12 divisions, armies. There weren't many people killed. 146 people were killed during the invasion. Germany had no army. So the Weimar Republic, they were in control then. They said, well, you know what? We can't do anything. Go to work, but don't produce anything. So, but you'll get paid the same. So they inflated their currency. Everybody went to work, and they slowed the economy down to a standstill. And that's basically, that's what we did. That's exactly what we did.
Right. And this UBI is coming. It's going to happen, and they're doing it on purpose. They're collapsing the world economies. And from a micro view, you might go, "Hey, great! I get $1,000 a month or whatever." Sure. But from a macro view, it's another system of control. They're also going to add in high tech like China, or the social credit type system. So people like us that may speak up against the government or against something, we might be cut off, because it's also going to be digital. It's also going to be crypto orientated. So what seems good, $1,000 a month or whatever, may be good again at first, but it won't be good after they get you hooked on it, like the guy selling drugs at junior high school. Whatever you get, well, they're going to get you hooked. It's going to be great at first, and they're going to reel you in. It's another form of control.
Well, that's another thing I kind of like about Mexico. In a lot of ways, they are more socialized in theory than the United States, but in practice, they really aren't.
Right.
They don't have a social security system. Now, they do have a socialized medicine, but what's happened is they have this government layer of practice, and then they have this booming private doctors, and all the doctors have to work, for the government, but then they're working on the side with their own private practices. And those hospitals are nice and professional, and they, and you're based on. And we have a wonderful doctor that's really helped aid through this, and so it's unfortunate that that's happened, but that's how they've overcome it. It's kind of a semi-socialism. And then we just had Ernesto here. His parents the same way. They can't. They built this beautiful gym that they had to close. But, we're going to figure out a way to open that gym back up. We'll make it a club or something. I've already said, well, let them know, and I'll start working out. And it's just going to basically the gym. There's going to be gyms there, but they're going to be not open to the public, and they're going to be more expensive. And that's the way everything's going to be. Everything's going to cost more. It's going to be available. It's going to, I don't know if you're not near my age, but back in the late 1950s, when the jet aircraft first came out, late 50s and early 60s, flying was very expensive, but it was also very luxurious. Oh yeah, you didn't. Yeah, basically
dressed up.
In your day?
Back in the day, flying was very few people flew in airplanes because it was a very expensive luxury. And of course, and that was a complaint we always had, flying. When I got out of prison, started flying, I said, man, this is worse than taking a bus, you're cramped. Because I remember even my days back in the 70s, we'd party on the plane, but a lot of times the planes were only a third full or half full or maybe a quarter full. I'd be flying from Minneapolis to Kansas City, and it might go up and down 3 or 4 times, but we were partying the whole way. And people were walking around, you're smoking and drinking, and it was a completely different atmosphere than what you have now, where you just load into that airplane like you're a herd of cattle, and just you're miserable the whole trip. We weren't miserable. We actually had a good time flying. And of course, all the stewardess were young then,
and beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Yep.
Two guys you missed out.
Yep.
Anyway, those days aren't coming back for a while.
No.
It's
I wish
unfair,
a lot of things
and unfair. You can't have beautiful. Huh?
It is unfair, but we can't go back. But everybody here is lucky because we're at least know about Bitcoin, and I believe Bitcoin is going to be the thing that it's a life raft for folks. It's a life raft. It really is. There's a lot of things coming at us. A lot of things coming at us this decade. This whole cerveza sickness, that was just the kickoff of this decade. That was just the kickoff, the excuse to collapse economies and so on. So,
would you call it the cerveza sickness?
Yes, coronavirus.
Corona beer.
Oh, cerveza. Oh, okay, corona, cerveza. Yeah. Well, I never equated the two. I guess I should have. Yeah. I never really equated the two that much. I guess that's true. I wasn't thinking cerveza sickness.
Yeah. Well, I got used to using other words because Fascist Book will and other internet forums, they'll block you or censor you if you use, certain words, COVID and things like that. They'll track you and block you because they don't like what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you're not following the narrative.
I know. Well, I'm not following. I piss people off even in my own family because I refuse to buy into the narrative even a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you guys can think what you want, but it's the flu. Oh no, this is different. And I know Bitcoiners, they're all doing the same thing. Oh, be careful. Ugly. Well, I am careful. I mean, but within reason. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I got. Look, guys, I had the COVID. Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I had it too. My son had it. I know lots of people.
Juan has it, right? Didn't Juan was saying he probably?
Yeah, he thinks he probably has it. I mean, I actually was tested and I have it, so I do know that. But I got it from. Actually, we tracked down how we got it, and Alonzo, our oldest son, that he's got a girlfriend now, and her parents.
Really?
Yeah, can you believe that? Well, he's got a girlfriend.
All right.
And her parents both got COVID.
Oh.
So he must be kissing her or doing something because it must be getting close. I can't imagine that, but
good for him.
But he got the COVID. Well, he just got sick. Well, he has fibromyalgia, and he never really got any symptoms. What it did is bring out his symptoms of fibromyalgia, and so he was sick, and he actually went to the hospital. And my wife, Anisi, she went and picked him up, and so that's when she got it, and that's where it started. So we finally figured out. Yeah, because we were taking reasonable precautions, and she was the one that we were most worried about because she was the high risk, and then he's the second high risk, and I'm the third.
For you, Alonzo.
Third, so yeah.
One of the things I love about my libertarian friends and like our get together in Acapulco every year, it's a kick. There's a lot of very, very knowledgeable guys there, including doctors, and by coincidence, I was at the Acapulco this last year and hanging out with some of the alternative health doctors, or real doctors, as I like to refer to them as. And it came out, we were talking about it, and they were saying, your God-given immune system is all you need. You've got to keep your immune system boosted.
That's it.
Vitamin C, you cannot OD on vitamin C. Worst thing will happen is you get the shits. I've done 12,000 milligrams intravenously in Costa Rica before at one time. Down in Mexico, they were saying you start to feel like you're coming down with something. You can take a few thousand milligrams every few minutes, and then a few thousand milligrams about on the hour all day on that first day. But there's a
vitamin C or B?
C. You can't OD on C. Other things, you're only supposed to take specified amounts.
C, you take all you want. B and D. How about B and D? You take all you want there too?
No. I think B and D have a certain amount, and I forget what that is off the top of my head. And you should be well-rounded. Take your other vitamins alongside if you start to feel sick, zinc as well, and things like that. But and vitamin D, just plain getting out in the darn sun. Don't not hanging out shelter in place. That's bullshit. Getting in the sun, getting your vitamin D. But I can tell you a story. I've been flying. I'm a frequent flyer for many years now. A few years back, every single time I flew, I would get sick. But I was letting my immune system run down because I was running around, like a wild man all over the country and all over the planet. And so one of those doctors way back then said, well, you're not taking care of yourself. You're simply not taking care of your immune system. And I started making a conscious effort to do so. And I don't get sick flying. I haven't worn a mask this whole time since it started because of all of the knowledge that I have.
I got a cowboy scarf now. This is my mask. Just because I forget it, I got some. They won't let me in the place, and I got. I don't know. Where do you go if they don't? Are you rebelling if they make you wear a mask, or do
No,
you
no,
want
no.
for
What I mean by I don't wear it is I don't wear it voluntarily. Sure, on planes, like flying to Colombia, there was no option. Of course, I wore it, and I wore it in the where required to wear it. But what I'm saying is, I don't wear it in the shower. I'm not wearing it driving down the road in the car by myself. I'm not shallow breathing. That's another thing.
Yeah,
Deep
I
breaths are
just find
good
it
for you.
extremely uncomfortable myself. So when I
Mhm.
do wear one, I put it so I can still breathe through my nose. Because I just,
Shallow breathing is one of the worst things you can do. Never mind this COVID stuff. It's worse. It's bad for you in general. You
yeah,
need to. Anybody that doesn't know that should study Wim Hof. Wim Hof he's volunteered to be shot up with viruses and hasn't gotten sick. Simple, deep breathing and keeping your immune system boosted. Cold showers and so on. We're fed with so much bullshit. It's just not even funny. I could go on and on for hours, but Bitcoin,
there you go.
buy Bitcoin and take
Buy
care of your
Bitcoin.
immune system and have your plan B and your plan C and start segueing out of the USSA, having a
Yeah,
backup plan, at least residencies, if not a second passport, ideally. Besides, life's more fun outside of the USSA. It really is, especially if you can make your own money trading
yeah.
or
If you can do that too,
you
know, and guys, it's not that hard to trade. I've shown it.
mm-mm.
A lot of people think it's rocket science, and it's really not. It is money management. Do you want to tell a little bit about your experiences on trading? So people,
You talking to me?
yeah.
Oh, I'm not a good trader. Well, I just started getting into it right when they uh, BitMEX and right when they pushed Americans out.
Oh, so yeah, okay, you're
Yeah, no,
prohibited.
I'm not a good trader. No,
Hey,
but
you
I
said you
learned
went.
money management principles from you though, and I applied
Yeah,
them.
and that's all. That's what I teach. If you get that, you'll be a fine trader, and that's what because that's where people always blow it. It's just so simple,
Mhm.
and yet it's a principle that's it's not just in trading. It's every part of every aspect of your life. And
Mhm.
we didn't have much, but now we've got several. Oh, you should see A&E's house.
Oh, the one she's building.
Oh, it's going to be something else. She's.
Nice.
I'm I having a hard time keeping up with her. I never she's always she hit me for 500,000 pesos here. I'm surprised. I got my love. I said, I'm not ready for that. I said, you don't know how hard you make it on me sometimes, but she's,
Mhm.
yeah, she's, and she's going to buy the lot behind us to put all these race cars in. So,
That's the one I wanted to buy. Darn it.
well, she might. Well, right on the corner, it's probably still available. I mean, well, I'll
Okay.
tell her if you want it. I'm not excited about it. I think we got
No.
enough property, but
Mm.
I see why she wants it. But there's other ones that are available in that same area. It's amazing how many people are building there. It's really taken off. And I just see all of Ensenada is just going to be booming.
Well, I
So,
want a small house, but a big garage for toys. Big garage for toys, small house.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's basically, uh, that's, yeah. I mean, she's got a big house and it's not that big a house. It's only going to have, we're only going to have like 3 bedrooms. So it's not even
Okay.
my office is actually just going to have probably I said, you know what? I don't need a bed in there. Just put a couch I can take a nap on. And, so we only have Esther now. So that's just 2 bedrooms is all we need and an office up there. But the upstairs, she's putting all glass. I mean, it's going to be, I'm not that kind of person. I like to buy things that are finished, but she's not happy unless she's building something,
Mhm.
and she's got, and it's very inexpensive to build things here. The labor's so cheap down here, just very inexpensive. Materials are just as high as the U.S. But
Right.
but the labor is very I mean, people still work down here for $100 a week,
Mhm.
and they don't have 5-day weeks, guys. 40 hours. It's 6-day weeks. That's the way it is.
Yeah, but and also a lot of the buildings are made out of cinder block,
Yeah, they all
and
are.
they're
Yeah,
cheap. They're a buck
yeah.
each. So you do have some materials, and concrete's cheap down there. So you do have some inexpensive materials, and you don't have to go through all the California codes for
No, there's no
earthquake and
codes at
all
all.
that
No.
BS.
In fact, and
So
there's no
no,
taxes as long as you
right,
don't finish. As long as the house isn't finished, there's no tax on it, and so that's why everybody's building their house, and they never
right,
get finished.
right. There we go.
Everything has rebar shooting out of the top, and
Right.
they, the biggest, like I say, when I learned how Mexico works is when I needed to jumpstart my car, and I was asking some, a Mexican, do you have some cables? I need so no, but I'll get it started for you. And he takes his battery out of his car, he turns his battery upside down and jumpstarts my car. I'd never
Nice.
seen that before. Never seen it. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
so, very innovative in its own way. So,
Mhm.
yeah, well, yeah, come down here. I know she's been looking at stuff. We've just that big old place down the road we still haven't been able to get a price on that. That great big old, well, I think it used to be a junkyard. It's pretty well
Right.
cleared out now. And then we found this other place that is actually where they have little rodeos down there, and they has a big for horses and stuff. But
Mhm.
they want prices are going up down here.
Of
People
course.
are buying stuff down here. And
Yeah. Well, and they're going to continue when the dollar. I mean, the dollar is still kind of sort of strong, but relatively speaking.
yeah, I
But
talked to a guy that bought, those new condos they built that up on the hill, right?
yes.
I
Right
talked to a
before you
guy
hit.
that bought one,
Mm-hmm.
and he bought it for like 250,000
Oh wow.
pesos or 200.
Oh.
Anyway, I forgot what. Anyway, the price is basically where he bought it, and he hadn't taken possession of it. He's getting ready to take possession of it, but he bought it like 2 years ago, and he's just paying off the completely be paid for. But the price now has doubled in 2 years.
Yeah, with everything going on, your Americans are not going to get the sort of deals they used to get in coming years. So I mean, if you have the extra money and you're able to diversify, it's a good idea to
Yeah,
get into
you're gonna
something.
find out what it means to have a weak dollar,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's going to be big wake up call.
It is.
Yeah. Well, Tone Bays is getting ready to move out. He just publicly announced he's moving and not coming back. So,
Mm-hmm. Where's he going? Did he say?
he's shopping.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
kind of like me.
he'll be visiting us soon. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's very interested in Colombia too, because he
Mm-hmm.
was there before, and I know people. I've never been to Medellin, but I'd like to go there. I just, I've always been impressed by Colombia, and
Mm-hmm.
the Colombians are the business people of South America.
Right.
They never grew the cocaine; they just marketed
And distribute it.
and distributed. Yeah, they formed the distribution networks.
That's right. That's right. Well, I like the idea of both. The thing I like about where you're at is you're still close to enemy territory, the United States. And so, if you did want to go in or go out, it's pretty easy from where you're at. Somebody still wants to go back and see family or what have you.
Yeah,
But
that's getting less and less desirable for me. Kind of
yeah.
was. Just and I'm getting up there where I don't really like to travel as much as I used to now. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we're going to have a private gym now, so hopefully I'll get myself in a little bit better shape than I'm in.
There we go.
That can change. So
there we go. Well, I'm hoping to close on the house in Colombia in the end of March. It's a long escrow, which I'm glad. but yeah, you're welcome to
So
come
this is
visit me out
saving,
there,
guys.
too.
What Ron is doing is he is saving because of Bitcoin and because he's very good at what he's done. His history is he's actually started with a broken down trailer park and built it into quite a very lucrative cash cow. And he's looking to, if not get out entirely, at least diversifying and going elsewhere. And that's just a wise and prudent thing to do. You said, you said you went to Acapulco. Did you go this last year? You went
I've gone every year except for the very first year, but this last year, yes, I was there. I was late because I was at another seminar way up in Wisconsin. But yes, I was there.
Okay.
In fact, that was right before COVID.
Okay, because I've only been to one and it was enjoyable. It's a big. How was their turnout?
Well, I got there towards the end, not as big as usual. But I just got there at the very tail end, which luckily for me, by the grace of God, that's when all the doctors were doing their thing. And so I was hanging out with them and some others. I just caught the very end, like the last 2 days. But also,
I know people are starting to like that conference just because of who attends and not so much for the conference, because sometimes they have a lot of shit corners down there and so forth. But it's and Acapulco is fun. There's and there's a lot of big corners down there. So
absolutely, it's Bitcoin paradise.
All right, so you need to tell your stories for about 2 minutes while I go pee. I'm the only guy I know of that gets on YouTube and gets up and say, I got to go pee now. So it's yours, Ron.
What story do you want me to tell?
Well, just whatever story you want to. Or I could just go up and pee and you can look at people, but I can't wait, man. I got to go.
Go. All right, go ahead. I'll talk about it in Acapulco a little bit. Actually, in Acapulco is how I got introduced to no, that's not true. It was YouTube. I was geeking out on YouTube when I heard about Bitcoin, but that was back in 2015, I want to say. And then I also stumbled across, libertarian type movements and in Acapulco. So they kind of dovetailed. I went and I got so excited on YouTube. I was in Georgia at the time, which is where I'm at right now. And you could buy Bitcoin on an exchange, like an ATM. They still have them in various places. And I just got so excited. I drove in my car and went to Atlanta. Bought my first Bitcoin by depositing. It was $900 back then. $900 bills. Had to set up a wallet right there on the spot on my cell phone. And that's how I got my first Bitcoin. And then I went to Acapulco, and shortly thereafter, by coincidence, and I met all kinds of kindred spirit Bitcoiners and libertarians and truthers and all this sort of good stuff. And I just that's when I started building my conviction for Bitcoin and accumulating. So I'm a long-term hodler, really, with Bitcoin and other crypto. So
you have some Ethereum, you have Ethereum and so.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, good. But I mean, Ethereum's treating people well. I listened to Tone. I got rid of all my Ethereum long ago because I kind of learned the fundamentals. But if Ethereum's going to fail, it will probably fail this year, and it's going to do it on its own. So my equity went down this year because in December I started selling Ethereum. Ethereum I don't have, guys. I was a net short seller, which I don't recommend. That's not really hedging, and that's pure speculation, and I was wrong on it. So, but the key is as long as you're just a little bit wrong, it doesn't hurt you.
Actually, Ethereum's one altcoin I think is going to stick around. It's certainly got the momentum, and it's certainly going to stick around for this bull run. That's for sure.
Yeah,
there's some money to be made on it.
Well, you're testing the highs now. I just don't know if it can make new contract highs,
Mhm.
I just don't think it will, but I might be absolutely wrong. So,
Well, I think it will because of the fundamentals. You know, all the big boys are jumping into Bitcoin. We're having supply issues with Bitcoin. And so, what is human nature? They're naturally going to look for things that are cheaper or the next best thing, you know. And so, Ethereum's right there. But yet, it's perceived as something safe. So, no, I think they'll get, you know, I think Ethereum's like the guy you take to the party that gets the extra, you know, the girlfriend that you don't get. People are they're gonna they're gonna they're gonna grab what they can get. This is gonna be a crazy market. And
well, it is crazy. So, did you see our little promotional video there?
No.
Oh, can
Listen.
we show them the trip? Well, yeah, let's play that one.
Okay, hold on.
We've got Ernesto now. We've got a professional photographer here. So go to the Twitter and hit the New Year promo, and you'll see what we're going to be promoting. So incidentally, one of the trips that we're going to be planning is we want to do the trip from Ensenada to San Felipe and back.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, and here,
There we go.
there it is.
Hey, that looks familiar. Nice. Oh boy.
We are offering my subscription for the next 3 days at half price to celebrate happy birthday of Bitcoin. Here's the rate, 2021. Yeah.
Nice.
That's our new image, man.
I like it.
We have a professional photographer now, and he did a documentary on this, so we can show the trip, and all the members can come down here, and you get one free trip on us. You can come down and stay with us, or you stay in a hotel if you want. But yeah, we kind of want to just make a place where you guys can hang out and escape for a while the tyranny of the United States. If you can make it down here, they may not let you come down here after a while. That wall that Trump built is going to keep you in. It's not
exactly. Exactly.
That's what it's going to be about. Oh, I can't go to Mexico anymore. Oh, now I understand why they built the wall.
Yep. Psych.
So, yeah, I wonder if the Democrats will tear down the wall when Americans demand tear down the wall so we can move to Mexico. I wonder how that one's going to go down.
Mexico's going to say, we don't want you.
Yeah. Well, they used to when the dollar was strong, but yeah, I don't know.
Right. Your dollar sucks and you guys suck. Forget it.
Yeah. Well, the pesos at 19-1. I think when you were here, it was probably what, 22 or 23.
Yeah. Right. 21.
Yeah.
22.
And so it's at 19 already. I mean, it's just it's a reflection of what's going on. So anyway, we'll see if we'll be scheduling that one. That trip goes up to, but there's a place called Big Sky Ranch, which goes over the little mountain range in Baja. It's too cold to go up there. This time of year, you have to be, I don't think people would be comfortable doing that. And, but the weather is different there in San Felipe, completely different from Ensenada. I mean, Ensenada this time of the year it's San Diego weather. It doesn't get, San Diego does not get hot. I mean, Ensenada does not get hot in the summertime, and it does not get cold in the wintertime, but it does get a little chilly. You have to wear a sweatshirt with your shorts this time of year. So that's, but it's definitely San Diego weather. Okay, here is somebody who says, okay, yeah, American has been stolen by the Marxists, and you know, apparently we're the American people are too weak to take it back, and that's the worst part.
Well, they're too weak, and or they're too ignorant. They're still asleep. They don't even know what happened.
No.
They don't even know their wallet's been pickpocketed. They're that asleep, that dumb. It's sad.
Yeah, there it is. 900 being produced a day, and demand is over 4,000 a day. Yeah. So
you're talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah,
right.
Which is true. And guys, that's the cash market. And I saw a study that was done between gold ETFs and GPTC, and those are both, you know, kind of phony markets. So you have to really measure these things in the cash markets, gold and Bitcoin. And I'm not like I say, I'm not a bear on gold at all. I do think that the Bitcoiners, there's a sect in the Bitcoiners that think that gold is a barbaric relic. And I don't think it is or ever will be. I mean, I can understand why this generation has that viewpoint, but you're fighting 200 generations where gold has always been a store of value, and it will remain to. Bitcoin's a speculation, a very worthy speculation, a speculation that has made me very, very secure financially, and made many people, you know, millionaires and billionaires. And so, yeah, it's a great speculation, but you shouldn't be fooled into thinking that it's a store of value, because anything that, you know, it's anything that moves that much is not a store of value. It's just a speculation, a very, very good one. And so you treat it accordingly. And if you think you can trade the thing, you're not going to, you're probably going to lose everything that you put into it, because it has these wild swings, and the market will just eat your lunch. But as long as you're hodling and you sock away, it pays off in the long run, just in ways that you just can't imagine. It changes the way you think. Would you say that? How's Bitcoin changed your thinking, Ron?
Well, it's changed it a lot. It's helped me to feel more secure, like I actually have a choice in what's going on in this world, or a life raft. It's changed my thinking in the way I view fiat money, because I get to see it firsthand, in particular the U.S. dollar, but the rest of fiat currencies. It's opened my eyes.
But you and I, as entrepreneurs, we already had a long-term perspective. I mean, when he basically, Ron's story is he bought this rundown trailer park, and you had no money. And
I lost everything in the 2008 banking crash.
Yeah.
So that's the other reason why I've been studying what the heck is going on this planet. Got blindsided by 2001, and I got blindsided by 2008. And I started studying a little bit after 2001 about what's going on in the planet.
What happened in 2001? I was locked up then. What went on then?
September of 2001, 9/11.
9/11. What?
Yeah.
Okay, that was just a shutdown, but okay, that's when the inflation really kicked. Like buying gold at 9/11, that was a kickoff to buy gold. I think it was what, $200 then, $200 or $300, and
well, I was a race car driver back then, and I was trying to make my way to the Indy 500, and I had. Do you remember Radio Shack by chance?
Yeah, we still actually do they close here or not? I still think
they're open here.
we still have them in Mexico. Yeah.
Oh, well, I had a $10 million sponsorship from Radio Shack, myself and a guy named Davey Hamilton, that had gone on and raced the Indy 500, I don't know, 7 times or something. But that was supposed to be my first run in 2002. And then 9/11, and I had all my chips placed on red number 7, believing that, Everything was fine. I was down to my last nickel. We had landed this sponsorship, and then 9/11 happened, and boom, I went bankrupt.
Wow.
Instead of going to the Indy 500. Yeah, and
And did you officially go bankrupt, or you just shut down? You actually had to declare bankruptcy, or did
yeah,
you
yeah.
did?
But there were
Wow.
others. Yeah, there was other things going on. I was going through a divorce too, and other factors. But all these factors came to a head. Speaking of money management, where were you back then teaching me money management? I had everything leveraged.
I was in the Fed Country Club then. You know.
Right.
You guys were taking care of me back back then. Not I was in. I couldn't do supervised release because I don't want anybody fucking with me and my business. You don't tell me I got to live my life a certain way. Just keep me locked up. That's another story I need to write about sometime. But they need to bring back corporal punishment. Okay, I've done plenty of wrong things, but you know what? When I have, just give me my whipping and let me go, and I'll learn it much quicker that way.
Right.
But oh no, we can't do that. We have these long-term torture sessions instead. But no, they did. I went to Florence then, and I did my final stint in Florence, Colorado, at the Medium, which it was probably one of the nicest places I've been. Was locked up with pretty good guys, and I got myself in good shape.
The lifers are pretty.
Huh?
The lifers, they're pretty respectful. They talk in a respectful way.
Oh yeah, no, it's no, it's one of the most respectful places you can be if you're in a high security or medium. Very, very polite society. Never had any threats in prison. Because if you threaten anybody, you're not going to wake up. You're going to be dead the next morning. You're not going to. You just take care of business. That's the way it is. Which is a different way of thinking, but kind of good way of thinking in a lot of ways. Keeps life simple. But yeah, Florence was that's where I was. I remember 9/11 because I had my friend was from Poland, and his dad was part of the
your screen went black.
the communist regime when it was Soviet Union, and he was a top general. What happened?
Your screen went black.
Yeah.
Whoops. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's just the camera. Probably the camera lost its battery or something.
There we go.
All right. I'm back. Apparently
There you go.
different camera.
Oh, okay. I see why.
Okay. Oh, we became unplugged. Oh, you should see all this equipment now. It's going to be, these guys are I got all kinds of toys down here. And finally I got some guys, they just, they didn't play with them. They're learning to play with them. And with the last trip, we went down there to Baja, Los Angeles. They crashed the drone. They learned how to, but I said, you guys got to, I kind of expected, so I had to buy a new drone, and a top quality drone was a couple $1,000. So I had to replace that thing. So we're going to start documenting these trips and just kind of have, this is going to be maybe a Bitcoin refuge or something like that. As you're escaping America, maybe I call it the Bitcoin Underground Railroad. It's for all you poor slaves down here. We have this underground railroad. If you can get across the Mexican border, maybe we'll be able to get you to another country after that, or you can stay here in the free state of Mexico. So, we drive ATVs on the street down here, guys, and it's okay. They do make you wear a helmet. As long as you have a helmet on, you can drive your ATV on the street. So you don't have to worry about the turn signals working or anything like that. Very few cars. Well, let's put it this way. There's not a real high safety standard, or they've tried to do the was it the what is it when they check the exhaust? What do they call that in
Oh,
California?
smog.
Smog. Yeah, they try to do smog check here, but it just doesn't fly because only about 20% of the cars are even registered. they're,
Or pass.
yeah, they just, people don't register their cars because it's so expensive. They just drive these old beaters, and as long as you drive an old car, they're not interested in seizing it. Now, if you're going to drive a nice car, you need to register it because otherwise the socialists are going to take your car because you're not legal. So that's kind of the way it is. You have this wonderful free market economy in Mexico, but it's under the radar. It's very, it just, all the taco stands are open. They're not hurting at all. Just
Right.
the establishment restaurants are. Like if you have a barber shop, the one that's in the shopping center is closed. All the little ones, all the rest of them, they're all open. They're not hurt. So it's just a different way of doing business.
Lots of small businessmen there, which is great.
Yeah. They are natural entrepreneurs down here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So lost everything in 01, and then I lost everything. I worked my way up, built my way up again, only to get over leveraged. Still didn't learn my lesson about money management. Over leveraged in a California house. It was $800,000 back then, which for me was a lot of money. It's worth $2 million now, but I lost it because I had a big loan and a balloon payment was due, and the banking crash happened, and nobody would refinance me, and lost that house. I was homeless on the street, living on because same thing, red number 7 kind of guy. Still didn't learn my lesson. Money management, didn't learn, and living out of a hippie RV van on the street, getting hassled by cops. What are you doing here, son? Trying to sleep. You can't sleep here. Can't sleep here. Get on down the road. Okay, I'll go sleep over there. Fine. But so I worked my way up, yes, and I bought a piece of shit trailer park, converted it to a decent mobile home community, and now RV park, since I was living out of an RV, and we're building a tiny home community, and the park's killing it. And learned my lesson the hard way about overextending yourself, over leveraging yourself, and poor money management. And so now I'm very, I don't know if I want to use the word
Ron did a show. He came down here and we did a show, and he actually outlined that whole story. Do you know that link? We should link that onto here because it was really a very good story and worth listening to, guys. Particularly if you're suffering now because you feel like you're missing out, or if you just got blown out of the market and you just lost all your HODL. You can make things back. It's not easy. It's going to be very difficult, but it can be done. And Ron is one of those success stories. Somebody asked me here, what kind of a dip will it take us to get back to backwardization? Do you think we will see it again in this bull market? That's really a good question, Brian. I didn't think we would see it when we saw it this time a year ago. I didn't think we'd see it. And so it's one of those things you can't predict because we went into the most extreme backwardation that we'd ever seen with the COVID sell-off. That's when the market, actually, I was able to buy June futures $1,500 under the spot market. So the difficulty is in trading is we always want certainty. We want to be able to predict and see where things are, and where things are going. And as an analyst, they when they're right, I predicted this, and I predicted that. And you know what? Nobody can predict anything. Yeah, you're going to hit it down again, and then they can brag about it. But so it's the thinking that is wrong here. The question you shouldn't be asking is will it happen? Because I don't know. I don't think it should have happened back there in March of 2020. As a trader, you want to be in a position so if something like that happens, you can take advantage of it. So it's a different way of thinking. It's not say, do I think? No, I don't think it should ever go into backwardization. Okay. But that's not what controls the market. We actually had, deliverable crude oil went negative because there was such a glut that the people, it was costing more to hold it. So people say, yes, I will pay you to take this off my hands because I don't want to pay for the storage on it. And which was just an incredibly insane situation in the market. It was very temporary. It lasted a day or two, or I don't know how long it was. It wasn't very long. And then it was over with. But that's what happens in these things. I mean, we took out we actually completely eliminated a major hedge fund that with some really good guys in it. So we don't know where the market's going. So we trade accordingly. And it's when we start thinking about what's going to happen, I mean, that's what's really hard right now. We are in uncharted waters. This thing can just keep going up, and I'm not interested in hopping back into this market. I've got my HODL, guys, and I don't have to be trading this. I guess I will. I'm going to probably get a hold of Victor because he's been really busy, but I'm considering just doing a random trade following only money management with what I have on that account now and see if it can, because I preach that. I said TA isn't that important. So I'm just tempted to ignore almost all TA and just come up with some system and use the proper money management to show you how it works. Because if you master that, it doesn't matter what you do. The problem that you have is, and this is the problem with short-term trading too, is you'll tend to, and I did it, mildly, but I put 2 more Bitcoin back there in December, or just during the holidays, just before the end of the year, or right after the end of the year, because I thought we were going to break and we didn't. And I threw away 2 more Bitcoin, which is, that's nothing to sneeze at, guys. It really isn't. So, I made it back already in the gold market, and I do think you look for opportunities where the risk is small. And that's, so I don't think that we should see backwardization again. We actually did do it. I noticed, and we were busy with the COVID thing, and guys, things come up in life. You can't always be trading, but we actually, once we took off and hit the all-time highs, we had that sharp sell-off that took us right back down to December 31st. We went briefly just for a minute or two. If you didn't have an order price down there, you weren't going to buy it. That's basically where it is, which is very, and then what happens some days, you're going to finally price those orders down there. It's going to go down there and it just keeps on going down. That's the nature of the beast. That's how, that's why we all got blown out there back in March. Along with everybody else, we were in a sharp backwardization. We were at $5,200. I said, man, this thing can't go any lower. So I bought more Bitcoin. It kept on going down and I blew out at 4,700, and I was able to buy it back under 3,200, 47 to 32 in an unprecedented backwardization. Now, if you're tuning into this and you have no idea what I'm talking about, one of the articles that I wrote, I was kind of the first one because I'm an old trader and I understand markets and how they operate. I wrote about if you go to the website or you go to Medium, is called Why the Contango is a Curse for Speculators and a Blessing for Hedgers. And that's what we have right now. This is really a terrible speculators market. Now, most of the speculators disagree with me because they want to be,
This one?
yeah, that's the one.
All right, let me share this.
And what has happened now is that the market structure has changed. The amateurs are back in the market. Everybody that missed out, you got all the FOMO going. That doesn't mean this thing can't go to 100,000. But in June, I think this was 2019, we had the same situation where we were not at a large contango and suddenly it popped. Now we've really not gotten extreme yet. That's the whole thing. This thing can just keep going up. And there's some very good fundamentalists like Willie Woo. He said, just ignore the monthly 9 on this thing because we're going to keep going up. So, but the thing is, we're in a huge markup phase and the volatility is huge. It's just not the low risk opportunity that we had last year. And that doesn't mean that you can't just buy it. It can just keep going up. I said, well, what's the risk? But, I'm telling you, when the thing turns, it gets bloody and nobody can get out fast enough. And, I realize that's just the nature. As the market's going up, everybody's bullish. And you know what? You can't fight that. There's no way you can measure it. And so it's not where the market is going, but what are you going to do if it gets there? I'm a reactive trader, not a predictive one. I had no idea. In fact, when I get to be predictive, I get in trouble. I thought we probably not had this breakout. And I thought there'd be plenty of time if we did to jump back in. Well, I wasn't ready to jump back in at much higher levels. And so I didn't, but I didn't have to because I made my beans in a market that was extremely tradable and is not tradable now. So, and if we can, let's pull up that gold chart and maybe I can teach you a little bit about this from looking at the difference between this market structure of gold right now and the market structure of Bitcoin. Okay, here's the market, here's gold. And again, we are not on, this is the daily chart. The most significant thing is we have this huge breakout on the first of the year. Now remember, gold is not Bitcoin. It's not open all 24/7. Bitcoin started a whole new marketplace because it never shuts down. We didn't have 24/7 markets before Bitcoin. That set the precedent. So we actually are closed. That big gap is because we were closed over the New Year's is a big thing in China and all over the world. So you had a big holiday. So when you opened up the market on here, give me the so I can see what the prices are. Yeah, let me see. When we opened the market here, we closed at the end of the year at 1893, and we opened right up at $20 higher, and was just going up and up and up. Now we had this breakout and you have this huge gap. I didn't sell any up here. There's a possibility this gap could be filled. I think this meets all the requirements. I probably will add to my gold position here. You have what I call, I've written articles on that you can find on the website about an outside day. This is an outside day where we had a higher high, a lower low, and we closed lower. Now, most people, that makes them bearish because they call this a reversal, but not me. Most of the time, this is now a buying opportunity and this thing should continue on up. I also want to be a buyer if we take out the previous week's lows. So we can go look at this, change the scale to a weekly chart. And all right, so here we are. Whoops, see if we can move this down this way. Here we are. you can see that I bought it here. And I did a horrible job, but I'm long from that blue line. And we have this nice breakout. We have this test. Now, if next week we take out this low, I think you can buy it and risk this 2-week low, which is down here, but there's no assurance we're going to do that. If you see, this is just beginning. It hasn't been confirmed until we make new contract highs. But if we get over $2,000 and hold it, then gold is in a long-term bull market. And I think, back in late 70s and 1980s, people were predicting $6,000 gold. And I think that's a very conservative figure now in light of the fundamentals, and the technical situation has not confirmed it yet. But to me, that's why I'm at it. If you notice my position, I have very little in the Bitcoin right now, but I'm using Bitcoin to buy gold. This is 800 ounces at 8. Actually, every one stands for 100 ounces. So I have 800 ounces of gold now that I have purchased at 1856. And so far I have I have an open profit of a Bitcoin and a half. So what I threw away there in BitMixer at the end of the year, I pretty well made up. Now, I don't want to fool anybody. I actually went into this trade last summer because I thought it should have happened last September, and it didn't. And so I actually took a loss. I gave up about 4.5 Bitcoin on that. So I'm still not even on this. But what happened is I dumped my loser, which was the gold, and I stuck with my winners, which was Bitcoin. And most of the Bitcoin I made this year was made here at the last move up. I mean, I don't know where I was last summer, but I was probably ahead 20 or 30 Bitcoin, and I doubled that between September and December. Unfortunately, I exited way too early, better than, and I normally would not have, but I got fooled. You're not always going to be right. It's not, this is one of the most hard principles to teach, that it's really not important whether you're right or wrong in trading. The important thing is to be able to manage your risk, because and be able to ride those winners to the full extent as possible. That is why we HODL. That is why we only risk a small percentage of the HODL. That is why if you're trading, and what I've done consistently is I take substantial sums out of the market. I start all over again with less. I have less in my trading account now than I had last year at this time, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, and dollars amount is higher. But once you start, and it's hard to make that adjustment. I'm trying to psychologically make that adjustment now, because people know, I had substantial positions on. I started with just 0.6 Bitcoin and just 40,000 Bitcoin, but at $3,000, that's no shabby amount. That was 10 or 15 Bitcoin. During that bull market, sometimes I had I was long as much as 60% or 60 Bitcoin in a highly leveraged position. But you can't continue that. You need to take it off the market, and you want to have that ability to choose to become a small trader again. The opposite of that are what I call the extreme hodlers, where they get mad because I teach people to learn how to hedge, that, yeah, you can sell this market as long as you limit your risk. And so you can't do that because most people lose trading. Well, maybe you lose trading, but I don't. And there's no reason. If you're losing trading, it's not because it's because you're not doing it right. Because successful traders do it consistently, year after year after year. And you can do it too. You've just got a whole lot of bad habits and wrong thinking. And there's no magic beans. If you think there's a TA system, throw it out the window. TA can be useful. I recommend throwing away charts to start out with, and trade your equity. Then after that, if you want, TA can be useful. It can be, but it will, if you don't have money management with technical analysis, it will destroy you because you've set yourself up for destruction. Because you're relying on your system, you're relying on your forecasting abilities, and nobody knows. I have no idea where the market is going, and you don't either. And so we trade accordingly. Say the other aspect of this, people will just hodl, hodl, hodl. But then I've seen time and time again where people hodl. They don't reward themselves when they've done well. And I know a lot of people, I mean, not a lot, but I know people that were hodling. They never sold in 2017 when it went to $20,000. And then something happens in life. Somebody gets sick, they have an emergency or something, and they had to sell their Bitcoin at $4,000 or $3,500. And that's what you don't want. You don't want to have to move because you're forced to move. You know, I had to sell Bitcoin. I don't want to be selling because, you know, the goat lady building a new house, she just hit me for, I said, this is the final bill, I hope, you know, because we've got it. You know, so and we've just got hit by a big COVID bill. I mean, her medical treatment was not inexpensive. We're not going to the government hospital. I've got the best doctors here. They finally were introduced to Bitcoin. They're sitting here, you know, kicking themselves because she has medical problems. So we have a lot of relationships with doctors, and we kept always recommending that they buy Bitcoin, and they didn't all year. And then this happens. I was, oh, I wish I'd listened to you. So fortunately, the COVID happened. So they didn't bill us. I just said, you know what? I really appreciate you taking care of my wife. So they've got a small HODL now because it was, you know, they're our family doctors. And this is a new society that's going to grow up. We're going to have a new society, and it's not going to be the socialist society. I don't have people working for me. Everybody that you know, if we work together, it's because they're private contractors. I don't have any employees, guys, and I don't want any employees because I tell people, you know what, if you don't know how to set up, Hacienda is building a business entity here in Mexico. And if you can't figure out, if you don't have a bank account, if you can't get a Hacienda, I really don't want to do business with you. I don't want you to be my employee. I don't want you depending on me, and I don't want you to just have a job with me. You know, we've got to pick up the ball and run. What I am doing is, you know, say, you know, I like toys. So I said, look, I got all these toys, and I got this little show we're doing. You know, let's make better shows. And so that's what these guys are doing, and they're all excited about it. And so, you know, we'll see how it all works out. I hope, Ron, I hope you move down here to Ensenada. And you get established in Colombia. I'd love to go back and visit Colombia. I wouldn't mind getting something down there too.
Yeah.
So, and that's a good story in itself. There was an Anarchapulco in 2017. I don't know if it was somebody from Argentina or Brazil. I think it was Argentina. And he said, yeah, his son, you know, studied Bitcoin, and they had a condo. And so he wanted to buy Bitcoin. He sold the condo and rented a house, put all of his money into Bitcoin. And by 2017, of course, that he bought it when it was about, I don't know, $500 or $600. And when in Acapulco that year, it was at 17,000. Well, that condo now, he had enough Bitcoin, he could buy 10 condos or 100 condos. Anyway, he'd gone 10x or 100x on the funds that but he lived frugally. He ate rice and beans. He took his standard of living down a notch and put his savings up a notch. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to do. If as an entrepreneur, if you don't have anything, you got to live frugally. I mean, Ron's story is just so great because he literally was living out of an RV and living like trailer trash and built a whole business that way. Yep. You know, and and you know, and the guy that he found somebody that was willing to finance the property, but he also was doing his best. That's a story in itself, you know, who you do business with. And he almost lost it all because he wasn't doing business with the right people. So that's another aspect about business. You know, my mentor is E.C. Harwood, and our motto here is kind of, for integrity, there is no substitute. And, you know, if there's a time, once you establish a business, you want to be able to choose your customers. You want to choose your clients. You don't want to be doing business with just anybody. And I had to do it when I started my business and got out of prison. I couldn't be choosy. I was building a business. I had a debt on equipment. And so I did business for, even though I didn't like their product, didn't like their, you know, their character or anything else, I had to take the business to survive. But once I got over a certain point, then I would be selective. You know, if they couldn't meet certain requirements, they wouldn't even qualify to do business with me. And that really paid off, because now you've got a reputation, you know, that people respect and honor. And that's what happened. That's why I'm at where I'm at. I've never recommended anybody just come in. There's no free lunch here. You're not going to get rich quick. We do it, you know, money management is about as fun as watching paint dry, but you know what? It does work. So but you can do a lot of things. You can be multitasking as that paint dries.
Exactly. Enjoying your life.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for coming on. I think we're done, guys. This is it. If you're tuning in, we're going to be, the special is through today. We'll probably turn it off sometime tonight at midnight or afterwards in the morning. But we have, you know, good time to sign up for Ugly Old Goat. Hopefully we will earn your renewals. It's only for a year. You get the equity app, you get our Telegram group, and we now have 3 or 4 groups. We're stoked about what's going to happen this year. I'm almost at the point, I don't care about Bitcoin so much, but rather the Bitcoin community. And, you know, because that's what we're going to have to build. That's going to be more important than anything else. And we need to just take ourselves to the next level. As Bitcoin is going to the next level, we as Bitcoiners have to go to the next level with it. Is that a good description?
Absolutely.
So that's where we're at. And I mean, that's part of the whole thing too. Once you get into it, that's the people that you meet. It is a pretty wonderful community of people. It really is. And so we're going to have this little island down here where you can come down and really enjoy the Baja for what it is. And you won't be suffering from the socialism and COVID. We need a break from that, from communist California. You can swing down here and visit the Ugly Old Goat and the Goat Lady. So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Eddie, we need to sign out of here. Eddie's falling asleep on us.
We've been up since the morning, so.
Yeah, it's late here. It's almost to midnight. I'm on East Coast time.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Good seeing
Thanks
you.
for tuning in, Ron. And we're looking forward to this next year. I don't know. I've got to recover from this COVID before I jump back into the market anyway. And I'm going to put some thought into it. That's terrible, because if I start thinking about what I'm doing, I guarantee it won't be right.
All right.